Mr. Lee, you'd probably hear me if I unmuted my mic. Good afternoon, sir. Oh my goodness. It's about 18 here, and that's just starting out our day. But thank goodness we're getting some rain. I always start off with the camera turned off and the microphone turned off, and oops, forgot to turn it on. So, as I said, we've got some rain coming through at last. Uh, the birds are chirping. It's getting close to 90. I'd have to do the math to get it exact. I like C for doing calculations because it's, 0 is freezing, 100 is boiling for water. But Fahrenheit's a little more accurate because for every 1 degree C, you've got 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit. So without using decimal places, you can get a little more accurate. Well, Mr. Lee, like I said, that's a family member. It wasn't just a pet. Um, just about the same day you had to do that, within a day or two anyway. Uh, Somebody I know had to put down their puppy, and it was the best puppy. I have never seen a dog that had softer fur. Good morning, Roger Blair, and so well behaved. Justin, good morning. At the place that I go hike, once a week, I am very happy to see more and more often people are bringing their pets and their children. Used to, it was rare to see, an entire family unless the kids were like 10 years old or older. And now uh, they bring the babies. Yeah, well, you let her know that we send our condolences. Days like this makes me think of the old Twilight Zone episode. The old mountain man is walking up the dirt road and he gets to a gate and the guy says, "Come on in, rest a spell." And I'm paraphrasing, of course. The the guy says, "Yeah, we can have a good time," and goes over all this stuff. And the guy says, "Well, I've lost my dog." He says, "Well, we don't let dogs in here." He says, "Well, if you don't let dogs in, I think I'll go on up the road and maybe I'll come back." He goes up the road and he gets to another gate, and the guy there starts talking about everything going on inside the gate. And then the guy asks about his dog. He says, "Yeah, your dog is already here." He says, "Great. I didn't want to go into any place that wouldn't let dogs in." And it was just a metaphor between heaven and hell, and basically saying all dogs are going to go to heaven. I'm a bit of a Twilight Zone fan. Yeah, Roger Blair. It was an uphill battle to get that show on, and it dealt with a lot of issues that nobody wanted to touch, but they did it in a way that they got around the networks and everything. Roger, what would be your favorite episode from the Twilight Zone? Yes, I have seen the movie. I thought it laid the groundwork for one of the funniest scenes in television of all time. Sharon, good afternoon, Sharon. Oh, I did it again. There we go. Uh, in the movie, it was the actor that saw the thing on the wing. His name escapes me right now, but he was the main character on the TV series Third Rock from the Sun, and they had William Shatner guest star as the leader of the aliens, and he flew in on a plane to cover his tracks coming to the area. And he gets off of the plane and he looks at the main character and says, uh, "It was a great flight, but there was something on the wing." And the lead guy says, "You saw it too?" And the way he said "too," I'll never forget. John Lithgow is the name, and Shatner played in the TV series the guy that saw the thing on the wing. So the two of them bringing that little tidbit back. Which, okay, you guys just inspired me. I know what I'm going to post for next Wednesday's song. There's a Hey, this song's probably less than 20 years old, and they pay homage to other groups and singers and characters in TVs and movies in their music video. The song is so, but uh, that'll be one of my Wednesday postings soon. I like those little Easter eggs in the background. No, I have not. Sharon, I only do the no charge streaming services. I watch way too much TV and YouTube, but if I was paying for something, I'd watch even more. Yeah, John is something else. He is a. If you want to see some crazy acting, he was in Buckaroo Banzai in the what was it, the Fifth Dimension or something like that. It wasn't based on science fact; it was science fiction. But Buckaroo Banzai, yeah. Very entertaining. Stars the same actor that played RoboCop. And I saw Buckaroo Banzai before I saw RoboCop, and I thought the lead actor was Adam Ant until I read the credits. Dan Aykroyd's out there, buddy. His brother was the leader of a group in Canada. I think it was called PSI, uh, and they invested paranormal. Oh no, Sharon. Oh, absolutely. Um, John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd were crazy good. Uh, Lithgow's been in some really good movies. He was in Harry and the Hendersons, I think. Uh, I went back and watched the original Planet of the Apes movie after the challenge to the Patterson film came out. And I don't care what anybody says, the top people in Hollywood trying to make their characters look like monkeys and being coached and everything, even though they were in fantastic suits, they still look like humans walking around in those suits. Okay, now I got Flashdance playing in my head. Thank you, Mr. Lee. And Age of Disclosure, I would have figured it would have been out. You could get it on one of the free streaming services months ago, and I still cannot find it. I remember telling everybody, I'll just wait a couple of months and I'll see it on one of the free streaming services. Nope, not there. Yep, still have to. At least I've not been able to find it. And usually when stuff like that comes out 2 or 3 months later, you can get it on, some channel that's a streamer. It's on Tubi. Huh. I will check that because the search engine was supposed to check Tubi also, but I'll check that. Yeah, I watched it. I liked it. Uh, I know a lot of people are not a fan of David's, but I don't think they're listening to his criteria. I mean, he says right up front, we are not looking at all the disappearances in all the parks. We are looking at just the disappearances that fit this criteria, and he goes over it. Yeah, anybody who's interested in Bigfoot, paranormal, UFOs, UAPs, they should watch the David Pilates interview. Yeah, we'll see. If it's on Tubi, I will watch it probably sometime today because, as you can see, it's cloudy, dreary, raining. But even though it's cloudy, dreary, and rainy, It's Tuesday. Don't forget, Moggs is on tonight, 9 p.m. East Coast time. Which is 2 a.m. for Mr. Lee, I think. Yeah, Joe goes back and forth on a lot of issues. He'll talk to somebody, and at the end of the show, he's going, I gotta believe this. And then he thinks about it for a couple of days, and he's back toward the middle of the road where he's not so sure. He was all about back engineering, you know, crashed uh, devices and everything after talking to, oh, geez, Sharon, 3 a.m. You're 6 hours ahead. Oh, we'll find out. I try not to bother them too much on the phone. I mean, they've got so many different people. I just know that Stevie ran into a lot of traffic issues on the way up. I looked it up and on the map system, and she was probably an hour to an hour and a half drive from where I went Saturday, something like that. Oh, back to Joe Rogan real quick. When he finished the Bob Lazar interview, he was talking about how credible he was, how he had to believe what he had said. And then a week later, he's back to, I don't know, show us this, show us that. I was looking at somebody doing the Psalm 101, and they were showing the document. And I had never noticed before, but in the document, it has S4 listed as a place to take things. And, S4 is where Bob said that he worked. And nobody had heard of S4. So I don't know if that's something that just got, fell through the cracks or what. Yeah, Saturday mornings, my little brother watched that. If it was something that was successful, they would probably make a cartoon out of it back in the day. Mr. Lee, I didn't see either one of those interviews, but I might have to go look them up. I just have such a long list of things to go and see. It's difficult to get them all in. But if it's something I can listen to without having to watch the screen, that makes it a little easier. Raymond, Raymond, if I hadn't have seen that post, I'd have never known it was Norma's birthday. Well, I hope she had a fantastic birthday. When you guys get ready for the screen door, I'm going to go warm up the coffee cup with the temperatures back up. I'm doing coffee on the back porch. We'll tickle the wind chimes just a little bit. All right. Oh, Mr. Lee, I was going to look up those numbers. Mr. Lee, 25 degrees is 77 Fahrenheit. 30 is 86 Fahrenheit. And then 35 is 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's the conversion in there. So right now we're at 20 here, and we're going up to about 27 for today. And that's about normal for us. 33 is about 90. Because 30 is 86 and 35 is 95. So 33 would be a little above 90. when I was working in the electronics world, we would have to test everything from um, minus 55 degrees to plus 125 degrees. So I had to know all the conversions. But that was a long time ago. Mr. Lee, we've gotten right around 40°C here, but now you're not going to see those temperatures up in the mountains. On Grandfather Mountain, they had 3 weeks back in the 50s that they never got above minus, I'm going to say about 15°C. They did away with their charts that were searchable, so I can't check any of those. No. Welcome, Soul Star. And down where Daily Dan is, on a regular day, they're between 5 and 10 degrees warmer than here. Oh, geez. That's too hot. When I went to Laredo, Texas, it was absolutely over 40 degrees C there. And the humidity, oh, it was the worst humidity. But that was probably because of the heat. So, oh, and I got more video from Saturday's trip, but I have filled up my memory. So, in order to edit it and whatnot, I've got to download it to a laptop and do some juggling. Roger Blair. Yeah, things are back to normal, Roger. You're a couple of degrees cooler than me. It was nice Saturday. The highest temperature I saw was 60, 60 or 61. But boy, when the sun come out, it would really beat you down. Whoa. That's like 100 and almost 120 Fahrenheit. Jeez. That's too hot. That's a pretty big swing, Soul Star. With the clouds here and the rain, it kind of clamped down. We started out at 67 and we'll go up to about 80 Fahrenheit. Oh, yeah, easily. You can do that here some days. Uh, you guys probably know, I mean, I try to find ways to just conserve without, too much effort. And in the summertime, years ago, I had a little outdoor grill that was flat black. The entire grill was flat black. And I'd wrap up a potato and leave it in the grill in the sun. And during the day, it would get hot enough inside that grill that it would bake the potato ready for me when I got home that night. Yeah, if the clouds are at night, it keeps the temperatures up. Clouds during the day, they kind of reduce the temperatures, keep them from going so high. No, that's okay. Nope. I, I have seen those videos. People, they'll they'll wrap stuff up in aluminum and put it on the car's engine and drive for like 30 miles. And then they get out, take the food out, and it's cooked. Nah, that's a little too much. Oh, geez. But I mean, eat simple stuff that you can do, like, you know, just moving the coffee pot on the back porch. That keeps the heat outside and, not inside the house. I think it's kind of ridiculous to spend money on electricity to make coffee and it heats your house up, and then you got to spend money on air conditioning to cool it back down. Just take the coffee pot on the back porch. Yeah, well, I, I know, but I think I'll avoid that. I'll do little silly stuff like the gnome home and pick with Kathy and whatnot. Uh, for a while there, I was doing little Easter eggs in the videos where I got a couple of little signs. Uh, one's a rock that says "Be happy," and they were placed in the videos, and but nobody was interested in finding them, so I just stopped doing that. Well, one of the rocks I used it in the video for Kathy's river home, and the front door disappeared and the "Be happy" rock appears. Yeah, Mr. Lee, I agree. I don't know, Soul Star. Yeah, but I did it for quite a while. I mean, especially the hikes. Hey, Donna. I know, Donna, you're always busy. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we can do this. I like frying pans for frying eggs. I like frying pans to brown hamburger when I'm putting it in something else. And I like to heat up garlic so that I don't know, it just releases the flavor when it just gets the slightest hint of brown. Well, Soul Star, going back to the little Easter eggs I was talking about, that those uh, one's a little placard and one's a little rock. That's too bad, Mr. Lee. Uh, they're bright white, so they weren't, they didn't fill up the screen or anything, but at the same time, bright white kind of stands out with the other background. I can't get enough garlic, let me tell you. Uh, Back in the 80s and 90s, there was an Italian restaurant in Greensboro. I was living there at the time. And I'm here to tell you, They just had garlic bread from heaven. It was just slathered with butter and garlic, and it was delicious. And unfortunately, it went out of business. Yeah, I saw him. He'll be here shortly. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Garlic is good, and I think it's good for you. And of course, going up to morning, Mike. Going up to Transylvania County, I had to eat a bunch of garlic. Well, they used real butter and real garlic, and it was chunks of garlic. Oh, it was so good. Can't say that I have tried garlic ice cream. You never know what's going to come together and taste good. Oh, I never smelled wild garlic. That's what I was smelling. Ain't that terrible? I agree, Mr. Lee. Uh, Mike, I am calling the town up there today, and I'm going to ask them why they did not have a white squirrel on display. Yeah, I'm going to ask them if PETA did something to squelch that, or if the storm might have taken out the population. Because Helene just devastated our mountain. They're still rebuilding, and this fall will be 2 years. I would have called them yesterday, but holiday, I knew they'd be closed. Mm. Oh, it was me, not Nightbot. Yeah, I had fun. It was the changes were a little disappointing, but I'm glad I went. After I got home, I thought through everything, and it was probably best that I went when I did because so much had changed. The pizza place had new owners. The the town had pirates. Come on, pirates in the mountains. Uh, but the fog and clouds going over the mountains was just amazing. I'll do the butter and I'll do the butter and garlic in the frying pan. Then I'll spread it on bread and toast it. Oh my goodness. And when it comes to pizza, oh my goodness, just make a layer of garlic is fine with me. Well, Sharon, it's your lunchtime. You know, Soul Star, I don't think I've ever tried to eat garlic raw. Oh yeah. Yep. Well, Mr. Lee, if you lay face up in your bed when that activity is going on, you can kill all the bed bugs. And if you're outdoors, you can kind of shoo the mosquitoes away doing that. But I used to eat onions raw or a baked onion. Oh, that's so good. Yep. Um, Garlic is good for the blood. It's good for a lot of stuff. And you know the old saying, apple a day keeps the doctor away. An onion a day keeps everybody away. I imagine that works for garlic also. Yep, exactly, Soul Star. And for all the algorithms out there, this morning show is for entertainment purposes only. Your mileage may vary. Yes. Uh, Soul Star, this guy I used to work with, was from Vidalia, Georgia, home of that onion. And once a year, he would, oh, Mr. Lee, you have a great day. Thanks for stopping in. Hopefully, we'll see you tonight. Mm, that's an interesting concept. I don't think I heard that before, Mike. But he would go home and he would come back with a bed of his truck just loaded down with 50-pound bags of Vidalia onions. And he got them for like $5. And he would take orders, give him $5. Mr. Lee, like I said, just have a great day. Thank you for stopping in. And I'd get a bag of those every year, and I would go crazy. I would bake an onion every other day. I would saute them and put them on hamburgers. I would just fill up sauce for spaghetti sauce. Thank you, Soul Star. Yeah, onion and garlic on the sole of your feet inside a sock. That has a lot of remedies, for, mountain remedy. And garlic, if you put it on the sole of your foot and leave it there long enough, some people can taste it. It'll get into your system to the point where some people can taste it. But for me, there's got to be quite a bit of garlic before I taste it. And I'm talking about in food, let alone on the sole of your foot. I've heard of potatoes, but nowhere near as often. Well, there's a lot going on in the North Carolina mountains that people don't know too much about. don't know why I like garlic so much, but it is tasty. Yeah, there's a lot going on with that too. I mean, the state park in up at Stone Mountain, North Carolina. The in the office there, they have a replica of a steel, and it has all the history of Junior Johnson and running moonshine and whatnot. I mean, we've got valleys in North Carolina where there's foliage plants that grow in that valley and nowhere else on the planet. That's how isolated some of the valleys are. Charlie enjoyed that huge parade yesterday, Charlie. That was funny. And it was nice. It's good to see that that part of the world has just little town charm. And it was charm. Uh, the display also has stock car racing, how it got started, stuff like that. Oh, that's funny. Uh, I think they had an earthquake. Is that what you're referring to, Mike? You know, Rocky Top is such a special song. It's country, but uh, in some of the clubs around Greensboro and Winston, every once in a while they would play Rocky Top, and people would get out on the dance floor. It was probably the only country song you could have played, and it was it finally got to where they'd play it about once a week, but that was about it. Yeah. What? No, I did not hear about the meteor. I heard something about an earthquake, and that was it. Hold down the fort. I got to get coffee. Uh-oh. Last cup of coffee. Just in time. Oh, I'm going to have to look that up, Mike. I'm definitely going to have to look that up. Charlie, congratulations. Thank you, Charlie. I hope you have a great day and good luck. We'll catch you again for sure. Um, yeah, the solar mass ejections. That's everybody needs to really be prompting our elected officials to do something about the power grid. A not even this say anything about the safety factor from what other countries might try to do to take out the power grid. Mike, I'm going to be looking for that. Yep. And it's not like we haven't known about it for decades. I mean, I know since the late 80s, at the very least, uh, we've been talking about it. And the coronal mass ejections, those things, everybody goes, well, that's not going to affect us. That they only got to look back to the 1800s. Luckily, the only electronics we had were telegraphs, but we had them wiped out by a CME. And compared to all the fraud and waste in government spending, correcting that issue would be small potatoes. Yeah, Mike, the data centers, they are way more widespread than I ever thought they were originally. They was talking about bringing one here, and they're taking over an existing building, and it's not all that big, the building that is. And yeah, a big deal. But then I started talking to people around the state, and they're putting them in every county. At least of the people I talked to, they're trying to put them in. And in some of the counties, they're going to cover a huge acreage. It just doesn't make sense. Khadijah, you showed up too late. Uh, I've already poured my last cup of coffee. YKB. YKB, I went to your live and I missed it by seconds. I mean, seconds. We never know. We just never know. Oh, Khadijah, you didn't miss too much. We're just yapping about what's going on in the world a little bit. Videos to watch. I think YKB is probably about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. uh, yeah, you had to go and get checked out today, didn't you, Khadijah? Oh, yeah. No place like home. And you got to deal with all that traffic down there. Ugh. Yep, 121. I kind of like the 24-hour clock in some ways. And in other ways, I think the 12 hour clock is just ingrained too much. Oh my goodness, a 15-mile cycle. YKB, that's great. Well, Khadijah, I just hope you got nothing but good news and you get home safe. Uh, I like it because then you don't have to deal with the AM, PM stuff, and it's, but everybody else uses the 12-hour. I mean, it's like, oh my goodness. Is it, Mike? That's not your current temperature, surely. I hope it's not your current temperature. Yeah. 27 is not too bad. We started out at about 20 here, YKB. And we'll probably hit 27 this afternoon, give or take. Yeah, there's a lot of solar flares going on. Yeah, but if it's 90 degrees for Mike, uh, okay, Mike, that makes more sense. Well, we're getting some very much needed rain. And until last night, it was just a good, steady rain and it was soaking in. And then last night, we got kind of a downpour for just a few minutes. Kathy was here yesterday. It's rained enough here where I feel like burning some stuff would be safe. Geez, Mike, with the clouds and rains here, we're going to be like 65 to 80, in that range pretty much. Last night only got down to 67, but that's the neighborhood we'll be in. That's because you're so far up north. I need to have I need to have a discussion with you, Mike, about temperatures up your way because I want to go to a couple of places. I want to see Mount Rushmore and a couple of other things in the area. And I looked up going out to Sedona, and I hate to say it, but I think I'm going to have to fly out there and rent a car because it's going to take me 3 days driving to get there. And after driving to Florida this past December, Yeah, I'm just not interested in driving for 3 days. Uh, that's Mike. That's like Boone, North Carolina. It's either July or August, but that's the only month that they've never had snow on record. I mean, they'll have summer longs without having snow, but at one time or another in recorded history, they've had snow every month but one. The highest temperature I saw Saturday was either 60 or 61 while I was up in the mountains. And that's Fahrenheit. I guess I should say C or F. I would probably want to come up there in September because I think it's August that Sturgis has their bike festival, and I just soon avoid the crowds. But I need to get serious about some of these travels and visiting parts of the country. Part of me wants to go up there for that celebration, and part of me just doesn't want to get in the crowds. Wow. I think we tied a record a few days ago. But one of the stations, let's call them more liberal. It's sometimes it's funny to watch the main weather person. They will jump through hoops and do black backflips and everything they can to accentuate high temperatures and just sweep low temperatures under the rug because they are promoting the global warming thing. And let me repeat the earlier statement: we're for entertainment purposes only. Your mileage may vary. Sharon, you take care. Always good to see you. And I know that you're doing some great work. I had thought Sharon was 5 hours ahead of us, but she's 6 hours ahead. Oh, Mike, I just remembered to ask you, how's the speaker box doing? Oh, Desmond, good morning and welcome. I, I told Mike, I told the story about taking my great nephew to see the Simpsons show at the beach. And when it come time to pay, he had been right by my side the whole day. But when it come time to pay, he just vanished. Sounds like she's a busy young lady, though, from what you've said. What kind of car does she have, Mike? Year and whatnot? 'Cause and Soulstar, Face just pops in long enough to say a couple of things and he disappears. That's kind of new for a power steering to go out. But I guess things happen. And let me guess, Mike, you probably installed it for her also. Yep. Well, I see that you said you put it in. I would have guessed it had you not said it. Me either, Roger, but it's funny how they act. Mike's a good mechanic. I'm barely a shade tree mechanic, and cars have gotten to where I don't enjoy working on them anymore. I was replacing the fuel pump on my 70, I think it was a 75 Monte Carlo. It was a 350, and it had a push rod that mechanically operated the fuel pump. And it was, simple job. A couple of bolts, take this off, put the lines back on. Easy peasy. Nope. The push rod that operated the pump, you push it up into the sleeve and it would just come right back out. And you had to put the pump lever in the right place on the push rod, and it just made things really hard. But my 66 Mustang, I'd do anything to that car. I took the single exhaust completely off, put headers on it, and made it a dual exhaust. I know, Roger. It's just not fun. I replaced the rear shocks on the Mustang with some air shocks so I could, it was just an inexpensive way to give it a small amount of lift because I put wide tires on the back. And to change the oil on the truck, I got to take a fender skirt halfway off, and even as small as I am, it's fun negotiating in to get to the oil filter. And I've got skid plates that I have to take off in order to get to the oil pan to drain it. It's like a buddy of mine had a Yamaha and he went to change his oil, and he had to remove one of the exhaust pipes in order to get the oil filter off of his motorcycle. And silly stuff like that is just mind boggling that they don't pay attention to, maintenance. This is something you're going to have to do. You're going to have to do it on a regular basis. Why not put it someplace where people can get to it? I'm sorry to hear that, Mike. I had a '89 Grand Prix. It was a V6 and it was front wheel drive. Everything that I found said you had to disconnect the motor from the rear mount and rotate it forward in order to change the rear spark plugs. And I looked, there was no way to get into them. Finally, I talked to somebody that knew what they were doing, and they said, just go under the car and go into the backside from underneath. And sure enough, it was doable. It was not fun, but it was doable. No, it wasn't supercharged, but it was the best piece of junk I ever owned, Mike. Uh, it drove fantastic. I had a 5-speed. I had to drive 2 hours to a dealership. It was the only 5-speed I could find in the state. I did not want an automatic, and until my current vehicle and the one before it, I always had straight drives. And I learned to drive a straight drive in a VW, got my license, and 2 months later, I was driving school buses. And so, when you're driving a school bus back then, especially, everything was a straight drive. And I just got accustomed to changing gears. Yeah, my 2001 Ranger was easy. Yeah, Soul Star, you're exactly right. And they're getting to where, uh, if you don't have specialized equipment, you can't work on them. I had my transmission fluid changed because they don't have a dipstick. The way you drop the pan and take out all the old, and then when they put the pan back on, you have to fill it in one opening until it starts coming out another opening, and it takes a special attachment in order to do that. It was crazy, but when I did that, I got some buffering going on. Sorry about the buffering, but when I had that done, uh, my gas mileage jumped up almost 2 miles to the gallon. Uh, so many things, the 3D printer people, they're dealing with laws, especially out west, that pretty much if you try to do any modifications or print certain files uh, remotely, they will brick your 3D printer. They will make it unoperable and just basically have a brick. And my phone, I really like my phone, but they are changing things where I can't use well, I choose not to use the web browser that comes with the phone, which works great, but now they want all kinds of junk, and I just refuse to do it. And I had to change to a different texting application because they're no longer supporting it. I'm kind of the opinion if you buy something, it's yours. You should be able to do whatever you want to with it. It's probably the internet here. Something's been going on for quite a while. It's like Microsoft Word, the what they call the Office software. Uh, they You rent it now. You don't purchase it and install it on your computer. And I think apps are just a ploy. Uh, Web browsers were you were able to run software on web browsers forever, and then all of a sudden you've got to have these specialized apps. No, you don't have to have specialized apps. You just need software that can run on a browser. Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm just lucky that a couple of decades ago now, I purchased MS Word. Didn't want to, but I was taking some classes at a college and was able to get it for the student price. So I got it. And I have full access to it. It's old, but does everything I need. exactly, Solstar. You, used to, you could buy them and you owned them. I've got, oh, geez, Access. That's the app that, or the software that I used. Access to build a database. And I learned a little bit about it. Not an expert, but, you know, and their excuse is nobody was doing the updates. They making the software vulnerable to hackers and whatnot. Well, you know, if people don't do updates, that's on them. They were just using an excuse to rent something because that's what the powers that be are trying to do anyway. You will own nothing and be happy. Boy, that's buffering's getting bad. All right, looks like the buffering has kind of tapered off for a minute or two. Unfortunately, too many people are just willing to go along to get along. It's like everybody was telling me, why are you buying CDs? Just stream the music. Well, you get up in the mountains where there's no cell phone signal. Guess what? You can't stream the music. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, Roger. I like CDs if I have a LP that's in really good shape. I would rather listen to that than a CD. But my hearing's got to the point now where CD, LP, cassette doesn't matter. They all sound just fine to me. When I had that Harman Kardon cassette deck 491, I, I would use metal cassettes and uh, I would record off of the CDs onto the cassette because I didn't have a CD player in the car, and then I would play the tapes, and I tested it. I got them synced up. The CD was playing and the tape was playing back, and I switched back and forth, and myself nor anyone I knew could tell the difference between the tape and the CD. But CDs is probably my. I've got more CDs than anything else. Cause around 83 or 4, I actually had some spendable cash, and ended up getting quite a few CDs. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing another short video on on a song using my turntable. We'll see, because some a couple of the videos that I had made and put up on the other channel, I no longer had them on the phone, so I wasn't able to upload them. But albums, they were just a total experience. You had the physical album to hold. It was big enough. They would put all of the song information somewhere on the inside sleeve. Uh, it was large enough for some great art. Huh. I never got into buying too many cassettes. I got a couple of cassettes because they were at a yard sale or something, and I didn't have anything from the artist, but mostly CDs. And the album art, the just when you listen to an album, it was a complete experience. You could hold the album, read the lyrics as you were listening to it. It it took effort to go to the store and buy the album, bring it home, put it on the turntable, and if you were doing it right, you would take the dust off of the album or make sure there was no dust or particles and etc. It was a more personal experience. And now they got the SA CDs, which you got to have. You know, CD players, new ones are expensive. they're, I think they start out decent ones or that will play the SACDs. I think they start out around $300. And I'm not going to go through and purchase all my CDs again. I need to start selling stuff, not buying stuff. I've got a Bose AM/FM CD player. One of the Bose Wave radios, and the owner had a problem with the CD player. The lid did not work easily, and they were getting ready to throw it away. It's like, hey, do you mind if I see if I can work on it a little bit? And I got it working. I play CDs on it. I play the radio more than anything else. Uh, I'm not a big fan of Bose, but hey, it was free. Yeah, SA is what does the SA stand for? Special Audio CD. It's an even higher resolution, and the data sampling is higher, I believe. I would never own one. I mean, plain and simple, I'd never own one. But it's audiophile CD, so to speak. Yeah, the 901s, they sounded great, but they were power hungry. I mean, you had to have a lot of wattage to get those boys to do what they were doing. Now, they sounded really good if you put them in a room that was good for that kind of speaker, because they use the uh, the bass was reflected off of the walls, but it was just too much. Thanks, Mike. Um, Super audio, but I never liked them for that. And you could get certain speakers that you could run off of a transistor radio and get a lot of sound out of them. They were expensive, but you could get them. Uh, I ended up, as far as cost and usefulness, I ended up getting JBL L96s, and they would put out right at 100 dB with 1 watt. I think was the characteristics on it. And JBL used, instead of round wire, if you looked at the cross section of the wire, it was square, and that gave it a little more, just a little more wire for the current to flow through. Yeah. And it goes, you can buy a CD, an SACD player that plays the CD, and you have the option of purchasing a digital to analog converter external to the CD player, because people, the audiophiles, get picky about the digital to analog converter. It has to have so many bits to run at such a high clock speed, et cetera, et cetera. So, and the clock speed, everybody probably hears something called bandwidth. the more bandwidth you have, the more signals or the more information you can transmit. Frank, good day, Frank. So I ought to do a video on the difference between analog and digital. Pretty much in short, analog is like walking up a ramp. You can get to any level of height you want on a ramp, but digital is steps, and you can only get to the height of the individual steps. Frank, don't be joking like that. We know you're not going to trade Maggie. Uh, Maggie's probably laying right beside you, digesting her morning bacon. That's my guess. But and then whenever a digital to analog converter switches, it doesn't switch instantaneously. There's settling time getting to the output level. So there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on there. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to go down the technical rabbit hole. Well, pepperoni's pretty close to bacon. She'll enjoy it, Frank. Oh, what can I say? Oh, I got off on a tangent. It's like I, I, I purchased Yes Fragile, first LP I ever purchased with my own money, and then I the first CD I ever purchased was Yes Fragile, and I had quite a few albums. And luckily, I didn't have a huge collection when CDs come out. And so I just started buying CDs, and I got the really good. I've had both the Harman Kardon's CD 491 and a CD 191. The 491 was whatever sound you put into it on a metal tape, that's what you would get back out. It was one for one from about 10 hertz to over 20 kilohertz. And hang on just a second. Uh, but somebody I hadn't seen in a long time showed up in the other chat, so excuse the distraction. But anyway, so I got a bunch of CDs, recorded them, and I was able to play them in the car, and all ended well. Well, let me tell you, Jerry Reed's greatest hits. Now that was a great choice. I am a big Jerry Reed fan. He had a TV show that was like 7 o'clock at night, and several of those shows I recorded on audio cassette because Jerry Reed was just a comedian and an excellent songwriter. He has a bunch of really good songs, in my opinion. And then when he got into Smokey and the Bandit, he is a good actor too. But I ordered some of the K-Tel albums, ordered some of those. Had a bunch of different hits on them. It was fun. Got a few 45s. I got Grand Funk Railroad, and the 45 is kind of semi transparent yellow gold color. I should pull some of those out. Mike, on the new stuff, people hardly talk about THD anymore. And since well, turntables are kind of coming back, but Wow and Flutter doesn't get talked about except with turntables and tape decks. That's something I don't have access to equipment anymore to even repair is amplifiers and whatnot. Need an oscilloscope to work on those. I don't have access to an oscilloscope anymore. And Frank, I'll have to come check out your song. Mike, thanks for stopping in. I hope you have a great day, and I hope your run of bad luck is over. You know, you had stuff getting stuck, stuff getting broke. Uh, I think last Wednesday through the weekend, not much went to plan, but hopefully we're past all of that now, Mike. Hopefully we'll catch you tonight over at Moggs. I'm pretty sure he'll be on at 9 o'clock, and it's way past 9 a.m. I'm going to go get something to eat. As always, I appreciate every one of y'all. You make my mornings so much better. And I hope nothing but kind words come your way. Frank will be checking that out. Take care, and we will catch y'all next time.